Today, we are diving deep into one of the most beloved books of our time, Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist. Now, on the surface, it's a simple story about a shepherd boy. But really, it's this powerful, universal message about following your dreams. And that brings up a question that, let's be honest, probably hits home for a lot of us. Just think about that for a second. That little whisper, that nagging feeling, that passion you keep pushing down because it seems impractical. That very feeling is the beating heart of this entire story, and it's what launches our hero on a journey that will completely change his life, and maybe our perspective, forever. All right, so let's meet this hero of ours. His name is Santiago. He's a young shepherd living what seems like a pretty peaceful life out in Andalusia, Spain. But there is so much more to him than meets the eye. See, Santiago chose this life. His parents wanted him to be a priest, a stable, respectable path. But he wanted freedom. He wanted to see the world. And get this, his favorite place to sleep is in a ruined, abandoned church right under a giant sycamore tree that's literally growing up through where the roof used to be. Now, that might seem like a random detail, but trust me, you're going to want to file that one away. It's a big deal later on.
So, this is where it all starts. A dream. Not just once, but a dream that comes back to him again and again. In it, a child leads him to the Egyptian pyramids and tells him there's a huge treasure buried there. He tries to just brush it off, it's just a dream, but it won't let him go. This is his call to adventure, pulling him away from everything he knows.
While he's wrestling with this dream, he meets this incredible, mysterious old man who calls himself Melchizedek, the king of Salem. And this king introduces Santiago to the single most important idea in the whole book, the personal legend. He explains that it's not just some random goal. It's your true purpose in life. It's the reason you're here. And then he says the famous line, when you really, truly want something, the entire universe conspires to help you achieve it.
So the king doesn't give him a map or a sword, he gives him wisdom. He tells him about beginner's luck, that little push the universe gives you right when you start. He talks about the soul of the world, this cosmic web connecting everything. And he warns him about the world's biggest lie, this toxic idea that at some point fate takes over and we lose control of our own lives. For good measure, he gives him 2 stones, Urim and Thummim, one for yes and one for no, to help him read the signs when he's stuck. With all this, Santiago isn't just a shepherd anymore. He's on a quest.
Okay, so Santiago is fired up. He sells his entire flock of sheep, takes a boat from Spain to Morocco, and takes that first huge, brave step. But of course, the journey isn't going to be that easy. The universe's tests begin, well, pretty much immediately. I mean, can you imagine? He lands in a brand new continent, doesn't speak a word of the language, and on his very first day, a guy who seems super friendly tricks him and steals every last coin he has. Just like that, he's totally alone, completely broke, and utterly devastated. You can feel that temptation to just give up, right? To think, I was a fool. But he doesn't give up. He gets a job working for a crystal merchant, and for a whole year, he just works and saves. And now he's at a crossroads. He has more than enough money to go back to Spain, buy an even bigger flock of sheep, and live a safe, predictable life. That's the easy path. Or he can risk it all again and push on towards the pyramids. He chooses the harder path. He chooses his personal legend. His decision leads him to join a caravan heading deep into the Sahara Desert. And it's out here, in the middle of this vast emptiness, that his way of seeing the world really starts to shift. It's such a great contrast. He travels with this Englishman who is obsessed with alchemy, but he's trying to learn it all from dense, ancient books. He's all theory. Santiago, meanwhile, is learning by living. He watches the desert, he listens to the wind, he learns from the caravan drivers. He's learning what the book calls the language of the world, not from a page, but from reality itself. Eventually, the caravan reaches this massive oasis, a safe haven in the desert. And there, Santiago meets Fatima. He falls for her, hard and fast, and he's actually tempted to just stay there with her and give up the quest. This is a totally new test, the test of love. But Fatima is incredibly wise. She basically tells him, go. If our love is meant to be, I'll wait. True love never gets in the way of a personal legend. Wow. And this is a huge moment. He's watching a pair of hawks in the sky and suddenly has this terrifyingly clear vision of an army attacking the oasis. Now, he knows that if he's wrong about this, the punishment will be severe. But for the first time, he completely trusts his intuition. He trusts the omen. He warns the tribal leaders, they arm themselves, and the attack happens exactly as he saw it. They save the oasis. He's not just guessing anymore, he's truly learned to read the language of the world. So Santiago's vision gets the attention of a very powerful, very mysterious man who's been living at the oasis for a long, long time, the alchemist. He sees that Santiago is ready for the next level, becoming his final guide for the most dangerous part of the whole journey. Things get intense fast. They're captured by a warring tribe, and it looks like it's all over. But the alchemist, totally calm, tells the chief that Santiago here is actually a powerful alchemist himself, and that he can turn himself into the wind. All he needs is 3 days. Of course, Santiago is freaking out. He has absolutely no idea how to turn himself into the wind. This is the final exam, and it feels impossible.
So for 3 days, Santiago goes up on a cliff and he just listens. He starts a conversation with the world itself. He speaks to the desert, asking for its help. Then he speaks to the wind. Then he speaks to the sun. And each of them tells him they can't do it alone, that he has to speak to the source of it all.
And that's it. That's the big revelation. As he speaks to the soul of the world, he gets it. He doesn't have to become the wind. He, the wind, the sun, the desert, they're all connected. They were all written by the same hand. He's already a part of everything. And in that moment of pure understanding, a massive sandstorm kicks up, totally terrifying the tribesmen. He didn't do a magic trick. He understood his place in the universe, and the universe responded. Well, after that, they're set free, obviously. The alchemist guides him almost all the way to the pyramids and then leaves him to finish the journey alone. Santiago has done it. He's overcome everything. He is finally at his destination. He gets to the exact spot from his dream, and he starts digging with all his heart. And then he's attacked. A group of thieves beat him nearly to death, and they steal the gold he had. It's just devastating. After all this, all the trials, all the growth, he's left bleeding in the sand with nothing. It feels like a complete and total failure. But as the thieves are leaving, one of them turns back and mocks him. He says, "You're so stupid. I had a recurring dream too, about a treasure buried in a ruined church in Spain, right under a big sycamore tree. But I'm not dumb enough to cross an entire desert because of a dream." And in that one single mocking sentence, Santiago understands everything. The physical treasure, it was back where he started the whole time. But here's the thing. He never, ever would have known that if he hadn't gone on the journey. He had to cross the world, learn the language of the world, fall in love, and face death, all so he would be able to understand the meaning in a random thief's story. And that's the beautiful paradox of the book. Santiago goes all the way back to Spain to that same abandoned church, digs under the sycamore tree, and finds a chest overflowing with treasure. The journey wasn't just to get the gold. The journey was what made him the person who was capable of finding it. The real treasure was the wisdom he gained along the way. So I'll leave you with this thought. The alchemist reminds us that our greatest treasures, our purpose, our strength, our wisdom, they're often already inside us. But sometimes you have to go on a long, hard journey far from home just to be able to come back and see them.